Hey everyone, I'm Colton with Coleman Electric Co-op. I'm currently a staking technician. A little bit about what staking technicians do is we take and meet with people when they put in a service request for a new line to be built to a house, a shop, a business, and go out there and determine what it's going to take to get it there, design all the lines, put it in a work order, and get it out to these guys in the field so they can take and build it to you.
That's right. And so I'm the guy in the field. I'm Jake Abbott. I'm a apprentice lineman at the Coleman Co-op. And so what we do is we'll come back after they stake the jobs. They'll put it all on iPads. And what we'll do is we'll come in behind them and we'll do this whole job right here. So we'll set poles, we'll pull guys, we'll put anchors down, we will put, we'll work out buckets, work out of diggers, set pad mounts. So really our job, we can't do our job without the staking technicians. And so the majority of our job consists of being safe. A lot of our job is just safety first. So a couple of our safety items are hard hats. Every time you get out of the truck, you must have your hard hat on. If you're at our warehouse, loading material, poles, transformers, always have to have hard hat on first. Then what you'll do is you'll go into your rubber gloves. So your rubber gloves are rated for 30,000 volts. And so with rubber gloves, you're able to actually put these on. You put these on, a little hard to move in, and you're actually able to touch this line from a bucket truck, and you won't be able to feel any electricity.
So today as we go through some of this demonstration, you're going to see Jake's going to use this little white stick right here that's going to simulate a hotline tool that he uses daily out on the line. Now with this demonstration being the scale that it is, we don't have to take all the precautions like Jake was talking about with his rubber gloves and sleeves and hard hat and everything today. He's going to be able to use that and show all this to you safely.
Yes.
So a little bit about how the power company works, okay? All of our electricity at Coleman comes from TVA. TVA takes and supplies that stuff on the big structures that you see. Lots of times they're going to be in more rural areas. You're not going to see them in town. Now you're going to see them as they get close to town, close to that substation like we've got right here. You'll see those big steel structures. So they deliver our supply to us.
Yes.
Once it comes into the substation, it hits one of these big transformers like this. Out there, they're going to be way bigger than what this is. Like I said, this is off scale. We'll take and convert that voltage that they bring to us, whether it's they bring in 500,000 in places, they bring in 161 in places, they bring in 46,000 in places. But any of those, we take and convert that down, and right now we're going through a system-wide step to try and get everything to 25,000 volts. There's still some areas it's at 12,000 volts, but we're stepping that up for better reliability for you guys as the members.
Correct.
So we bring it in, comes in, hits that transformer, we change it out, comes out here and hits the lines, runs down the line, then it hits a smaller transformer. That smaller transformer is going to take and convert it to what you can take and use as far as plugging your TV in, your microwave, your refrigerator, PlayStation for you kids that's got PlayStations and Xboxes. All those things without this smaller transformer are not going to work. So we've got to take and have that hooked together to where we bring it to the service wire and hook it into your house. Now, we will talk a little bit here a little bit later about these green boxes like this. Yes, it does look very similar to this, but that's going to be an underground transformer just like this overhead, where we can take and supply you with an underground service without having to have all these poles and guy wires and everything in your yard. So we're going to get everything turned on and ready and just kind of show you a few things about safety concerning what we need to do around the power lines.
Right.
So one of the biggest things that we have problems with, and you've probably seen it in a storm, you've seen it during the day sometimes, even if it was an older tree, is right of way. So we have a program that comes in ever so often, and they trim back the right of way, trim back the dead trees to allow things to keep from knocking the power out. And when I say you saw that in storms, you're going to see sometimes your lights will flicker 1, 2, 3 times before your power goes out. Well, that could have been a tree fell on it, a car hit it in the storm, or it could be that it blinks 1 or 2 times and comes back on. Well, that tree quit brushing against it. So what Jake's going to show you down here is we've got a tree that's really close to the power line. So with the power line on and energized, as it blows into it, you can see it arcs up against it. So as he does that, let's step over and talk about safety for a second. If you can see at the bottom, there's a little boy climbing that tree.
Right here, little boy.
Okay? Trees are filled with water. And water is the worst thing in the world as far as conducting, okay? I mean, you do not want water in contact with the power line. It goes back to like, you know, your parents and warning labels on stuff saying, hey, don't get that hair dryer in the bathtub, or keep this away from you know, the water hose that's running. You don't want that. Electricity and water do not mix.
Do not mix.
So in a tree, you've got sap. Sap is primarily made with sugar water, basically, okay? So then when you got that tree that comes in contact, that electrical current can flow down that tree. So anytime that you're out and you see trees and you're climbing them, and you've got to be aware of your surroundings, because that tree may be laying on there and it may not be arcing sometimes. And if it's not arcing, that doesn't mean that the power's out. That just means that it may be flowing through to the ground and it hadn't started causing a flame yet. So you've got to be very aware when you're taking and around climbing trees or cutting trees around power lines, because it can be a very, very big hazard. So who we got next, Jake?
Next in line, we have the little girl flying a kite.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm sure all of you've flew kites before, you know, and I have too. And as a kid, as a parent, now I think about it more with the role that I play here at the co-op about the implications of that. But everything that we work on with, as far as these rubber gloves, these bucket trucks and digger trucks, they're all tested. And they are tested in a fashion with materials that will allow us to do that work safely and come in contact with that line.
Yes.
The stuff that kites and different things that you may have close to a power line are not tested that way. It may have the same material properties, but it is not the same thing. It hadn't been tested and checked and approved. So you take this little girl that's flying a kite. She's got it up in the air. She gets it up here close to the power line. So the tree. Now someone is seriously injured because they didn't realize what was going on around them as far as the hazards of the power lines. Now, like I said, as we go through all this, you see this bucket truck and this digger truck that they haven't, not the first time, took and arced or flashed like this down here has. And that, like I said, that's because we take great time and great pride in the companies that we use and the companies that we purchase stuff from to take and do this stuff safely to keep these guys safe. Because if the folks that put these products out don't do their job, then these guys can't do their job.
Right.
So we talked a little bit about underground power a while ago. And that leads us to this big green box. Like I said, it looks a lot like this substation transformer, but it's completely different. You've probably seen these at the park. I mean, lots of times we've got them around schools, big businesses, and all of them say the same thing: danger. Okay? We've got all this stuff set up with so many safety rules, but listen, there's still so much we've got to have from the public for y'all guys to understand. You know, we don't want to be messing with these things as far as like trying to run into them or pushing on them or playing with them. They're not toys. Like I said before, that pad mount transformer is essentially this same pole, except it's underground. So it's just as dangerous and can be. So that's why those things say danger. Leave them alone. You know, when you open this up on the inside and you decide you're going to, you know, stick your hand in it, it takes everything just back to what we were saying down here as far as the tree and the kite. You have took at this point and put yourself in harm's way, and that's why we're educating you on it. Jake, if you want to step around there and make sure that they can see that good. There's this little girl. Like I said, the underground lines are just as dangerous. You just can't see them. And now there is a ton of safety built into all this, so don't be scared of the underground any more than the overhead. It's all there, and the reason that we can put it there is because somebody's took and approved it and our guys know how to work on that.
Right. So there's also a couple different types of power that we'll run. I know he explained that substations bring in huge power, which is 500,000 or 161,000 or even 46,000. But the ones that we will work on as linemen will come out of the substations, and that'll be either 14.4, which is 14,400 volts, or it'll be 7,200 volts. And so they're both obviously very high voltage. So no matter if you hit this with a kite on 7,200 or 14.4, both of them will still have the same results. Very strong, very strong. More than you'll be able to withstand. Whether it's not coming through a tree, through a kite, or the little girl with underground pad mount, they're still going to be able to. They'll hurt you really bad. Yes, they will.
Another thing that we want to talk about to you is downlines. Downlines are a major problem for us, because you don't know exactly what kind of material we use, whether it's a service wire or it's this primary wire or it's underground cable. You always want to take and give us a call. Let us know that they're down and stay away from them. The closer you get, the more in harm's way you're going to be. Okay? We can't go into exactly how far away you need to stay, but you need to stay way away from them. Okay? You need to let these guys get out there, put their trained eyes on them, ensure that it's safe for you to do whatever you need to do, and make the repairs as needed.
Right. Like he said, there's many different types of wire. And even if, say, your parents or you are an electrician, just because you know a little about electricity doesn't mean that you know whether or not this is laying on the ground hot or energizer or if it's dead line. So, like he said, always give us a call, because it's a lot easier for us and a lot more safe for the people in the public.
Just remember, we're always here for you, and we're around the clock 24/7, so don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call, ask the questions. Part of our job is to educate you guys. That way we can make everything safer and make it more reliable in the end.